Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 240, recording on Sunday, July 20th, 2025. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And on this week's show, the big release game of the year, Donkey Kong Bananza, is out. Sean and I have played, and we'll be talking about it. We'll also go back a little bit and talk about the Ghost of Yotei state of play and some thoughts on that. Maybe a little Shadow Labyrinth from Sean and some other stuff we played. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing excellent. I've been out in the sun a lot for kid baseball, so I am ready to have a nice, relaxing podcast, not in the sun. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about the relaxing part. We were talking baseball before the show, and I said something that got Huck very triggered. He was on fire. I think I woke him up a bit.
Not talking about baseball anymore. Baseball talk is done. This is now game talk.
There's one thing I know about my friends these days. The way you get them fired up, get a little kid sports talk going. They'll lose it.
Fly off the handle. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Lots of injustices out there in the kids' sports world. Anyway, anything else going on? I mean, episode 1000 of Film Junk just dropped.
Huge. 7-hour marathon.
Absolutely. We don't talk about Film Junk that often. We assume most listeners are also Film Junk listeners, but maybe
I'm a little disappointed you guys didn't pad the stats so it was like 10 hours, whatever, 100 hours, whatever would make up 1,000 in like digital form, and just like have like 3 hours of silence just to pad it out, just to make the exact length for 1,000 minutes or whatever it would appear on the ticker.
We did talk about doing like a 1,000-minute live stream. I don't know exactly. Was that like 6 or 7 hours, something like that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if you do the math, it is exactly 1,000 minutes. It's not, but we can pretend it.
Yeah.
And
16 hours. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot more. It's a lot more than 6 or 7.
Yeah.
There's 60 minutes in an hour, but it went very well. You should check it out. Superman, some other physical media discussions that I'm sure retro collectors will appreciate to some degree. Embarrassing purchases. So if you are not typically a Film Junk listener, now's the time. Get involved. Go to Patreon, filmjunk.com or patreon.com/filmjunk. Why do I always say the opposite? Okay. Ghosts of Yotei. We're going to do that first before Bananza. State of play, about 20 minutes, breaking down some systems in the game. I definitely have some thoughts. But did you guys both beat the first one? I think we all beat it. I platinumed it.
Yeah, I did not platinum it. I just played it through kind of the main quest line. I did, the occasional side thing, but I only went where I felt like going. I did not, maximize every area and do whatever. Once I got stale on an area, I would just move on.
Which feels like that's the way to play it.
Did we do a review episode on Ghost of Yoshima?
I think so. I think Scott was on it. I don't think I was there.
Yeah, we did. I looked it up before. It didn't show up, but I did a second search and it is there. So I definitely love Sucker Punch games, and I'm very excited for it. But what were your initial impressions? Huck City, what are you thinking?
I'll be honest. I watched it a couple days ago, and it's already kind of lost from my brain of what the details are. But I remember it looking visually extremely nice. It definitely has like a yellow, white, brown color palette that's very identifiable. A lot of the like effects in the game are really nice. I didn't really love the presentation this time in terms of how they described everything. I thought it was pretty slow, and they kind of like lingered on things maybe a little too long. I like that they are kind of like branching out and doing slightly different weapons than were in the last one. I don't think they had as many weapon types as they did before. in the previous game, so that's like a nice thing. Now, I'm not one for like a lot of like variety in my weapons. I'll usually try to find something I like and then just stick with it. And I think they mentioned, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about how you can like disarm people if you like choose the proper weapon, and like did they say you could possibly like steal their weapon or something like that?
There's heavy attacks that if they land, they can knock your weapon away, but if you time it right, you can counterbalance. So it sounded like a version of a parry system, but there's definitely rock, paper, scissors type system where it says dual blades are the most effective weapon against spears, where I believe in the first game, it was a system where certain stances were effective against certain types of enemies. So I'm guessing it's changed or evolved to like promote different weapon use in this. That's like the big addition. So it's not just about switching kind of stances and quick or slow combat. You actually change weapons, and it's a motivation for experimenting and forcing players to use the different weapon types, which I think is good. Like compared to Assassin's Creed Shadows, that you can use whatever weapons you want, and it's good that you can experiment with them, but there's no real reason to switch unless you feel like it or are like so motivated.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I also wasn't too interested in the story to be honest, of what was in here, but like the exploration still looks incredible, which is what I most remember about Tsushima, is just exploring that world, using the wind to guide you, and, you know, having this like very diegetic, like natural sort of, what's the, like, you know, like guiding light or whatever you want to call it, trail, but it's just more natural. I really like that. I think I'm surprised more games haven't done something like that, to be honest, like rip that off, because I think it's just so natural. And I always hate looking at a mini map. This is basically like a built-in mini map without having to look anywhere. So I'm glad they kept all that. I think the exploration is still going to be great. I hope they do a little more balancing of how much extra stuff there is to do in the world, which is, I think, was a little overwhelming in the last game. But overall, I'm still pretty excited for it. Not as excited as I was for Tsushima originally, but I still, I mean, I really like the first game, so I'm pretty excited after seeing this. As Sean? A long-winded first impression.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, I just watched it like a couple hours ago for the first time. I hadn't watched it, so it is fresh in my mind. But like, not a lot stood out. It was kind of like it looked very nice. It looks like a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, and I really like that game. So, you know, based on that, I'm excited. But I was kind of waiting for like, okay, what are the new systems? What's the new kind of selling point of this game? And I think the weapons are part of it, as you said, Huck. But the only other thing that I can remember was this clue system thing, which they mentioned, which, you know, kind of ties into the exploration stuff you were talking about, Huck. Like, I don't totally know what's different about it, other than it sounds like they are almost like they have a system to kind of get a sense for how you're playing the game, and I guess the kinds of missions maybe you're interested in, and then like starting to have those pop up in like an organic way or something like that.
Well, I think it's just the big stressor of the state of play was it's their most open game, or enabling player agency more so than they have in any other game. I mean, it felt like they were really trying to draw visual comparisons to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, more so than any other open world game I can remember in recent history. Even the part of the video where they say, we think the best way to play is to use your spyglass, see something you like, mark it, and move towards it, which is, and there's also a shot where the player or character moves up like a little cliff towards a mountain landscape, which is almost identical to the Great Plateau in Castle Hyrule in Breath of the Wild. Very similar vibes. So I think they're trying to tap into the Breath of the Wild audience more so than other recent open world samurai games. What were we talking about? Sorry, I was connecting myself. The card system. So in the spirit of player agency, how I interpreted the card system is you kill people or encounter them in the open world, and it's just an extra layer of like, what do you want to do as a player? And you start to learn there's different types of missions or locations potentially related to things, because they talk specifically about a snow area if you pick this type of mission. And I think it's just, you, rather than just having a user interface or a menu with all these missions you can do, it's just a way of giving the player, like, what do you want to do next? It's just 3 cards. It's like a deck system, and it's just a way of doling out information that makes the player think like they're making more choices. I guess they are making more choices, but I think it's just to give this perception of you're curating your experience more than the game is telling you what to do, which is usually not my bag specifically. Like, right. I be told what to do.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, maybe a bit of a reaction to the Ubisoft kind of just a map with a bunch of dots on it, which, you know, people criticize all the time now. So this is probably more, okay, it's open world, but, you know, we're not going to give you everything from the start. We're going to kind of like take our time and not overwhelm you, I guess. And
as Huck said, they definitely were the highlights when I first saw Ghost of Tsushima videos, were some of those diegetic elements that Huck was speaking of, following foxes, wind, things in the world that tell you where to go next and what you should be interested in. So it feels like an extension of some of those systems, but I think those worked pretty well in the first one, and if they've improved some of those, I would be excited for that. Any other initial thoughts besides the card system?
No, I mean, those were the main things, the weapons and the card or clue system, whatever it is. That's what I took away from it.
Okay, I'm coming at it from a slightly different perspective, which is having put, 25 hours into Rise of the Ronin and 50 plus hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows recently, very recently. And I'm shocked by how similar they are. Even the plot of like the 6 people that you're trying to hunt down to get revenge is almost identical to Assassin's Creed Shadows. You have like a character map with the people you're hunting down, and when you eliminate someone, like the screen goes black and white and a red line goes through them, like you've eliminated this person, which is exactly what happens in this video when you hunt or successfully hunt down one of the, I can't remember what the 6 people are called, but it like brings their card name up and strikes them off. Yeah, maybe the Yotei 6. And like, that's exactly what Shadows is like. There's the other big system they were pushing in the state of play early on in the video is your character can return to places from their youth, and it seems like the player can initiate a button press that changes time and like instantaneously flips that area into the past.
Right. Yeah, that looked interesting. I didn't totally get it, but I was like, okay, that could be cool.
And I've forgotten now, but another recent game had a similar system to that I played. Maybe it was a bit of Dragon Quest HD 3 remaster, but another game as well. So
it's Shadows kind of does that.
And I was about to say Shadows like has flashbacks, but you just don't choose when they happen. But it's a very similar vibe where you do a mission in the past and then you're kind of stuck in the present. There's lots of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it felt very similar. Even when they're talking about the weapon types, Shadows has all of those weapons and more. So it's like, to say what I think is better in this game, visually, I think it's way better. I mean, it might not be as realistic as Japan actually was in this time frame. I have no idea, but Sucker Punch is so good at making each area, whether it's color palette or scenery, feel distinct and unique. Whether it's like I think they lean way more into color and possibly unbelievable color, like some of the pinks and whites and yellows of certain areas.
Well, what if you play in Kurosawa mode?
That's absolutely not. Never will do that. But I think it does have a much more cinematic quality to it in general. Like the camera placement behind the character. This video was presented entirely in widescreen, I believe, so it naturally felt a bit more cinematic. Not sure if I'll play in that mode. A lot of games are doing that now. Not quite sure how I feel about it, but visually, I love it. I love the art direction. Even the menus, it was kind of illustrated pastiches of your wolf pack and all that stuff. And I thought all that stuff looked great. Like presentation.
Yeah, the wolf.
Yeah. Oh, the wolf looked awesome. Yeah. So it's like, presentation is a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm just a little worried that even going back to the first one, the 100%ing it and doing side mission stuff was a chore. So I didn't see anything yet in this video that made me think that's changed, or how they've evolved side missions and those types of things to not just be hunting for clues and following footprints, which was like 70% of that stuff in the first game. So I don't know. That's my biggest issue with the previous game. And I'm just generally getting a little tired of these open world samurai games. I've played so many of them, and I obviously lean towards fantasy infused ones like Nioh and Sekiro. So these ones are less interesting to me to begin with. And having just played another one this year, I'm sure this game will do fine. I'm excited for it. I will buy it, obviously. But I'm just not that hyped for it, which is kind of rare for a exclusive PlayStation release.
I just scanned the Wikipedia page, and speaking of the open world part, and it was saying that you cannot choose the order in which you face the Yotei 6, which is a little un-open world to me. So maybe there is some direction. It's kind of like a linear path with kind of like, some branching and then some convergence like between each of the 6 people. So maybe it's not as open world as they're sort of advertising it to be here. But the other thing I was hoping for is that the mountain would erupt. But I also just looked, and it said it's set in the 1600s, and the last...
Dormant?
What's that?
Dormant? Is it dormant from that point?
Well, it says the last eruption was in 1000 BC, so eruption is low probability.
Oh, how is the game... Edit this out. How has the game not done that, where you're in an area with a mountain and you don't know it's a volcano? It reminds me of Batman Arkham Knight, where the... Spoiler alert. Who's the villain in that spreads the gas everywhere and the whole city transforms, and there's the layer of orange gas clouding the city, and it completely changes the game.
Right.
I don't remember.
A volcano needs to change the terrain of an open world game. I'm guessing Warcraft Cataclysm had something like that at some point, but an open world game needs an active volcano. I mean, there's kind of in a localized area in Breath of the Wild with the Gorons and stuff. But in general, I'm kind of surprised at how similar it seemed to the first game, and it looks better. That's about it for me. So I guess I like the fact that it's a new character. I generally, I didn't have any carryover or attachment to the previous character. So I like the idea of moving on to someone new and a new area. So yeah, I'm excited, but not as much as I should be, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely had the feeling that I'm glad I didn't put 50 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows, because I could see that burning people out. I mean, it's like an 80, 100-hour game if you really go all the way.
Like the stealth in this, where it was like the triangle press to jump on people, and then there was a double button press to pull someone in with the Kazagura. Is that what it's called? It's those feel very similar to things I did in Assassin's Creed Shadows. It doesn't feel all that different. So that being said, if I scaled back, and if these both would have been released on the same day, I would have gravitated towards Yotei for sure. So I still think it looks better. I'm just maybe burnt out on this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they thought Shadows was going to come out last year, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the good news is if they manage to make this feel fresh and fun after all that stuff, I think that would be a huge success. Time will tell. October 2nd, we will know.
I've got the real question for you guys, mostly for Frank. When are you buying a new TV to have the Ghost of Yotei Special Edition PS5 be in use?
I will not be purchasing the new PS5
What?
exclusive. I'm not into that. I'm mildly interested, and I need to set a reminder on my calendar for the new set of pre-orders for the 30th anniversary PlayStation controller, Portal, and PlayStation. I don't think I can afford it right now, but that type of stuff interests me. But like game branded consoles, never had an affinity for that stuff ever. I've just not for me. I don't mind controllers now and then, but a whole system with a game branding on it, it's like kind of makes me barf in my mouth. I don't think I would ever buy that.
I was just looking up the 30th anniversary. Looking pretty slick.
Yeah,
those ones.
It's pretty cool.
Did they not have a Concord branded? Well, they had a controller, but not a PS5.
I would have bought the controller. I regret deeply not popping on it. I wonder if those are out in the wild. It's
I'm sure somewhere.
Oh, I wish I had. No, I don't know if they actually ever shipped them. Like they had them on the PlayStation Store. Like
I guess it wasn't. The game wasn't out very long, so maybe not.
I don't know if they ever shipped, but fuck, that would be sweet to have. Okay, we'll wrap that up. I guess it's time to move on to what we played, and we'll start with what I've already called Game of the Year after watching the Nintendo Direct.
Pre-rated Game of the Year.
When I saw the feet clap, I knew I was in for something special. And I'll just say, I've never been so embarrassed to talk about a game on this podcast.
Uh-oh.
Number one, Corey texted me talking about the game, and when he typed it out, he typed out the actual name of the game, Bananza, spelt like banana, not bonanza. And up until that point, in my head, I thought it was Donkey Kong Bonanza. I didn't know it was a play on words for bonanza, for bananas. And I felt deep shame and embarrassment when I realized that. And then second, I've only put 3 hours into this game since Wednesday. So
oh boy.
I've not.
That is not Game of the Year.
I've not gained power.
Fever has not hit.
I am an embarrassment to gaming. I'm an embarrassment to Game Junk. I'm an embarrassment to Nintendo.
Is it just because you forgot like the Switch 2?
No, I just for whatever reason I was busy, went away for a day, and then today was the first time I put some time in, and let's just say what happened. I started playing it. I loved it. I am loving the game. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I just napped for like an hour and a half. I'm like, I got a nap, and then that was my time to play this game, and I opted to nap. And then I had to go to my grandma's house twice because her TV was broken. Anyway, I haven't played enough, and I'm embarrassed and ashamed, and I should do better. I need to do better, but I'll still give my thoughts, Sean.
Well, hang on. Before we move on from this napping situation, why were you up what were you gaming so late the night before that caused you to need a nap?
Oh, well, we were hanging out with our friend Matt from California, and
that would do it.
2, right? Wasn't that late?
Yeah, 2:30, something
I did
like
stay up till 5 in the morning after that, but I wasn't really, I wasn't gaming, which is embarrassment enough. I was like cleaning and just doing
what's
nothing,
happened to you? What's happened to you?
It's true. It's embarrassing. And then I'm just a lazy bum. That's all I can say. I'm a lazy bum. Sean, how many hours have you put into DK Bananza, and what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, I think I've probably put about 3 hours in. I don't think I'm much farther than
Why are you deeply embarrassed?
Well, I guess I got a little busy too, but okay. First thing I will say, Frank loves to talk about the best mechanic in games is shooting or aiming, however you want to phrase it. but this game has two of the other best mechanics in games, which are destroying things and collecting things. And that's basically all you do in this game. So that, that right off the bat, I was like, okay, yeah, I could probably just keep doing this forever and enjoy it to some degree. And I am enjoying it. I like the visuals, I like all the different. I mean, I guess the thing that strikes you right away is just how everything pretty much is destructible to like a degree I haven't really seen before in another game. I mean, I guess Minecraft is similar, but and then you start thinking about like, okay, well, like if I just destroy everything, like what happens to the level? And there is an option to reset the terrain in a level. I guess that's why.
Well, there's a framework, a skeletal structure, metal usually, or an indestructible substance that is your barrier or limiting part of the level design.
Yeah. So it's just a strange thing to think about, but yeah, I mean, obviously they have some of that thought out and covered. I guess the one thing I'm a little disappointed by, and maybe it's just if I play more, it won't be a concern. I just don't feel kind of like compelled to keep playing in terms of like story or in terms of objectives. It feels very go and do whatever you want, which I think, that is, again, they're drawing from Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and those games. And I think that is an element. Now there is like a marker of like what your next main objective is. So you always have that. But everything else kind of feels like, how important is this? Like you walk over, you talk to somebody, maybe there's some kind of quest there, but it's not like it ever appears in like a quest log or anything like that I can remember. Maybe I haven't really gone through the UI that thoroughly, but it just feels like, and then if you just follow the main objective, it feels like you're being pushed along really quickly. We're to the point where I'm like, what am I skipping here? I'm skipping so much stuff. So I don't know. There's something weird about the structure of it in that sense that's bugging me a little bit. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it.
I disagree. I think there is the indicator as to where to go next. And I think the testament of why the game is great so far is even on the first sub layer, you're going down into this world through sub layers. I established I could go down further a couple times, and I opted to stay on the top sub layer and explore and kind of understand the game and the mechanics and just see what I can do. And I've been enthused by the level design. I think it's got absolutely exceptional level design in terms of creating an open world, not enormous, but a bunch of small open worlds that have, small pattern recognitions and changes. I think more of like the Koroks in Breath of the Wild, like something that catches your eye or a part of a area that's discolored compared to other things. And it just kind of pulls your attention, but there's still, in my opinion, pretty densely packed for this area. And the amount of fossils and other things you can search for, along with the banana gems and all these things, it just feels like I'm always rewarded for exploring. Now, I might be getting to the point where I'm like, I might be exhausting that reward potential when I'm trying to find the last few things in an area. But for the most part, I'd say it rewards exploration the best way. And I believe, I'm not far enough in to know for sure, but there's a lot of procedural elements to help convey that feeling. So treasure chests, I think, are procedurally placed in levels because there's a piece of clothing you can buy that says they occur more often when digging, and other things to like always make you feel like you're getting something, even if it's not a placed object by level designers. And I think you end up uncovering maps and other things to help you find the things that you're missing. And I don't know for sure if that's a procedural element to the game. Like, I don't, let me phrase it this way. I don't think where I got a map piece to show me where something was, if I had already picked that one up it wouldn't have showed me that. It's going to show you something new that you don't have yet. So eventually, I think through exploring, it'll eventually just kind of unlock everything in another kind of diegetic, natural feeling way to exploring the world. And one thing Nintendo always does so well is new ideas for areas and color palettes. Like the first area, the lagoon or something like that. I guess that's the theme, a lagoon, but it still feels very unique in terms of color palette. I'm thinking of like the sand area in Mario Odyssey. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like an orange or pink sand versus traditional. And they just have ways of taking environments that we've seen in platformers, but they make them feel unique. Where other games just kind of default to, well, we got ice, it's blue, and it makes you slide when you run on it. They just think of new ways to make areas and ideas that have done before feel unique, and I think this is no exception to that. I think as we've said, from the directs, the animation is incredible. Like everything DK does looks awesome. I'm still in odd rock mode of the game, so I don't know.
Oh, that reminds me. So I'm past the odd rock section, but did the voice of odd rock remind you of anything? I was like, I kept hearing it, and I was like, what is that reminding me of? And for me, it was My Pet Monster.
Oh, which character? Like
the monster.
Monzi?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't notice. I'll give it a listen though.
I mean, it's a little quiet sometimes when you hear Odd Rock's voice, but yeah, just next time you hear it, think about that.
Okay. I will say, like, very limited in what they use voice acting for. I think that's the biggest surprise is only a couple of cinematics actually have voice acting. And for a game this big, I'm a little shocked by that. And I think that's just, there must be a thing at Nintendo, like we don't spend money on extraneous voice work. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm assuming part of it is localization stuff for them. They just don't think it's worth it. But there is more when Pauline is introduced. Yeah.
More stuff, so just.
What's that?
I got more, but if you have other stuff, go ahead.
So you mentioned the map thing, and that kind of reminded me of something. So like I remember getting a map, and it like directed me to like a fossil or something, and it kind of felt like, is that worth it? Like I thought a map would be something really special, but obviously, as you said, it's more of a system in the game to be like, oh, there's hidden stuff that you didn't see. But I do wonder if there's almost too much stuff you're collecting to the point where like it doesn't really feel like the bananas feel important. Obviously, 5 bananas, you get a skill point, and that goes into your skill tree, and you get a new ability.
I love that system and that economy, especially when you see like you'll see a bunch of bananas, like 3, and you're like, oh god, that's like almost a whole skill point, and it actually feels satisfying. And
It's very good.
I've really enjoyed the skill tree economy and collecting bananas. That's kind of my main motivation for exploring, especially for punching through tougher surfaces and for improving my sonar, which is like I want to explore, and those are the two things that will unlock exploring for me in the best way.
Yeah, so like there's the bananas, but then there's also gold, there's fossils, there's some other thing like medallions.
Banandium chips.
What?
The chips, banandium chips, yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking. It wasn't like I'm not totally
look like
clear.
clocks. That's my biggest. They look like little clocks, but it's obviously banana seeds. But they could have made them a little better. If I'm going to start picking out small criticisms, that's one.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like I don't know what they all unlock. Like I think the gold is used to purchase like clothes and stuff like that. Is that right?
No, fossils are used to purchase clothes. Sean.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, gold has come into play in terms of story things you can unlock and stuff.
Okay, I have not found a use for gold or vanadium chips yet, which is one of my pet peeves, getting surpluses of economies and not knowing 3 hours into the game what I need them for.
Yeah, so that's what I like. I mean, it feels good like when you're smashing stuff and there's just so much stuff flying at you and you're collecting it all. That's cool. But yeah, I don't know what it's all for necessarily. And to be fair, if you die, you lose 500 gold every time, which feels like a pretty big penalty to me. But
Is maybe gold just like your health points or your lives?
No, there are hearts for that specifically.
Okay.
And I kind of disagree with Sean again. Sorry, Sean, I'm going at you, bro.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
The more the merrier. The more stuff to collect, I'm in. I would rather tons of stuff to collect in a reasonable sized area than a huge, like just a big area with maybe less to collect or just the same amount. I like a densely packed area so that I'm always finding things and it doesn't feel fruitless or aimless. Bananas get fruitless. But Breath of the Wild, it did feel that way sometimes, where there's huge gaps where I'm just getting from point A to point B and it's not that interesting and it's kind of slow at times. But I've come around on Breath of the Wild. I do love it now. But this game is not like that. It is more like Odyssey, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm still learning. I'll say my last two very minor criticisms, one extremely, which is the default for jump was on A, and thank God I could switch it to the bottom button, B, because it makes way more sense. Even the one button's punching forward, and then there's two other buttons for punching up and down. And it just kind of made sense to me that the top button is for punching up and the right button is for punching down. And it's like an up and down arrow on my controller that I'm kind of making that association with. But I was allowed to change that. And this is my number one complaint with the game. And I feel like something is going to be revealed to me through the skill tree or somewhere else in the game, because this does not make sense. Anyone who's a game designer would notice this flaw. The fact that when I want to rip out chunks of the ground, I hold right trigger to grab it, and it takes a certain amount of time depending on how tough the substance is. I have to press the trigger again to go into throw mode. I do not understand why, if I just hold continuously, I do not go directly into aim mode. I don't like it. It feels wrong. It just feels like this should not be two steps. It should be one continuous fluid step to picking something out and throwing it. And I'm sure there's an argument or a reason or something that it breaks in the game by not doing that. But if I was working on this game, I'd be like, we got to figure out the other thing. I should be able to hold and go directly into throw mode. I don't care if it's an exploit, put a small cooldown or something to make it work. Hitting that button again after I hit it once it's flawed. There's no other way to say it. It is wrong. It feels wrong when you do it.
I mean, I did have that feeling. I think maybe part of it is because you can carry stuff and you can be jumping and climbing on things while you're carrying stuff. So maybe there's just an assumption there where, because it takes a little bit of time, you got to hold it before it picks it up. And then people, maybe if they held it a little too long, they go into that mode when they didn't want to. They wanted to move with the thing they just picked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% why it's there, right? It's so they didn't want a button for throwing, right? Like it happens when you release. But I still feel like there's a tolerance of holding that there could have been a window between picking it up and or something. There are solutions. I mean, I trust Nintendo to some degree, but it just feels off. That is my only legit. This doesn't feel quite as good as it should when I'm playing the game. And it's a very small thing, but it is affecting this from being like a perfect game so far for me. I'm like, I gotta hit this trigger again. I just held it for 10 seconds. I just want to throw it. Or some way of making a distinction as to whether you're picking up for throwing or for, because how often do you honestly pick something up to hit other rocks or enemies with it? It is more powerful, but I default to punching a lot anyway. So I kind of wish I could flip it. So my default was to throw things, which I find throwing really good. And bombs are so much fun. It's if anything, they can't do this, but at least bombs, like you're not going to punch with bombs. Bombs should by default go into throw mode or something like that, so you can throw them right away. But I know it's hard. One thing works, one substance works one way. Yeah. There has to be a solution. Anyway, it's a great game. Loving the presentation, polish. There are some technical issues we spoke of last night with. I haven't encountered major ones, which some reviews have stated that. But anytime there's a camera movement through a cinematic, there's like a major stutter, which seems like a weird place to have stutters. I can only assume there's some, like, the way they're loading it, like loading when the camera moves is they don't have a lot of the level loaded for certain things, which doesn't necessarily make sense, because when you go to the map, a low level of detail version of the entire level is loaded. Like you can spin it around and do all this stuff. So it just feels like a weird technical issue to have, to me personally.
Yeah, I mean, that reminds me too that it's kind of weird. Like if you start digging a tunnel into like a lot of rock, and you kind of get like, it's weird what the camera does. Like they made it work obviously, but there's, if you pull the camera around the other way, it's just kind of like blank space. You know what I mean? Like it's because they don't want to show you just the wall that the camera is in, but I don't know, something about it is weird.
I mean, that was when we were talking previously during the Nintendo Direct, that was the biggest concern when you're digging down and like, are you going to get lost? How is that system going to work? It was very catered. Someone's playing it for a Nintendo Direct, and we were like, well, is it going to be that fluid or understandable when you actually play it yourself? And I would say for the most part, it's a success. I haven't had any issues with that stuff for the most part.
Yeah, and I haven't come across anything in the game where like that would be more like just extra exploration stuff. Like I haven't seen anything where it's like, hey, in this quest, you have to dig through like a mile of rock. Like, they don't really make you do that.
Yeah, they make it fun. Like they give you a rock with a bunch of bombs when you're going to have to go through a lot of stuff. And the level design, which to me is the most important part of gaming, is some of the best I've ever seen. So, and I'm just scratching the surface. And it's when intro areas are fun and you want to stay there, it's a very good indicator for the future successes of a game. That's only going to have more stuff going on, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already feeling like I need to go back. Can you go back like once you've gone down sub layers?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I assume you can, yes.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. But just because I've been generally like doing a few things here and there, but mostly just following the main objective, and it, like I said, it moves pretty quick. So I'm like, I've already gone down like 3 or 4 sub layers, and I feel like I skipped a lot of stuff. So
I love the enemy design, in particular this idea that they're gold skeletons of creatures, a bunch of them, and then they have like the materials of the level that attach to the skeleton and form their bodies. It just kind of reminds me of the nature of the levels, where there's a metal skeleton that holds all this material that you break through, and then it's taking that same idea and applying it to the enemies. And I think that's extremely cool. Lots of small touches like that, and creativity infused into every element of the game that I'm pretty sure this will be my game of the year. I'm not gonna I know I already said it is, but it's on track. And nothing has changed. I don't see a game being better than this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. Like I would say right now it's heading that way for me too, but I don't know. Something could upset it maybe. One other last point I wanted to make, and I don't remember if we talked about this in the direct or anything, but the map, I was very impressed with. Like it's a 3D open world map, which is always tricky, but like you kind of can find something you're looking for, and when you exit out of the map, it zooms out in a way that you're facing that thing you were looking at, and you instantly know what direction to go in. Like because that's always something that I found, you go into a 3D map and you're like, okay, I want to go there. But then you come out and you're like, wait, which way am I facing? And it just, I don't know, it was very intuitive. I was pretty impressed. So
I haven't noticed that yet. I'll keep an eye. I did use some markers that worked pretty well. And there's like little challenge levels that I've only done easy ones that are satisfying and fun. I haven't done any 2D stuff yet. I haven't done like the Bananza mode with the animals and all these other things. Like I've spent 3 hours using the core mechanics, and I'm still having a ton of fun and exploring. So I'm very impressed and excited to continue.
I mean, it's definitely, the first, I would say, must have Switch 2 title.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't wait to play it some more. I don't know how to reflect on the fact that I haven't felt the need to keep playing. Our friend Chin texted me and said he's 20 hours in, so I guess that means it's pretty good. So you play it nonstop, and I don't know why I haven't had that same compulsion or drive that I usually do with games, but I think it's more of a me thing right now. I'm just not, for whatever reason, I'm just not like into long gaming sessions these days. Something's wrong with me.
I don't know though, because like I feel the same way, and again, for me, there's something about that mission objective system or the narrative, something about it is just not pulling me along the way I would expect it to. But I will be playing a lot more. We'll see next week how things are.
Okay, yeah. If I'm not done by next week, I'm kicking myself off the podcast. If I haven't beaten this game, it's an absolute shame and embarrassment that something I claim to be game of the year is not completed in a week and a half. No excuses at all. I kind of had a bit of an excuse episode 1000 for like it was taking up a lot of time and was like a little burnt out by the end of that. But yeah, no excuses, bro.
It? Like, I think I saw 20 hours for the main story on how long
like 55 for 100%. Like there's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but okay. That's a lot.
I didn't even touch on my secondary embarrassment. I didn't even play Shadow Labyrinth. I love Pac-Man. I love Metroid likes, and I haven't even touched it. So anyway, Sean will talk about that. But all right. Anything else for DK Bananza, Sean? Anything we're missing here?
No, I think that's it for now.
All right. Excellent game. Can't wait to get back to it. Huck, anything you've been playing lately?
Well, I dabbled in 2 small games, but I'm going to go back to the game I've been playing the most, and that's Unicorn Overlord. Still going on it.
Wow,
oh, yeah.
Nice.
I am loving this game. 26 hours in now. Putting in some serious hours. It is getting a little repetitive now in that you're kind of doing the same loop now with not much variation. Definitely added a lot more characters and a lot more types. And I've now kind of, I can't remember how much I brought up the last time we talked, but there's this ability to sort of, you liberate towns and then you can upgrade the towns by finding things in the environment, and they call them deliveries. Essentially, you're just like getting resources and using specific resources to upgrade the towns. And then every time you win a battle or upgrade these towns, you get this currency called renown, kind of like your popularity, and there's like different levels of popularity. I think it's just like C, B, A, and then S. So at level C, once you get to level C renown, you can create your party from 3 people to 4 people. When you get to B, you can upgrade your party or you can promote characters to like basically the next class up, and it gives them stat boosts and all this stuff. When you get to A, you can increase your party from 4 to 5, and I don't know what happens after A yet. But that little bit of currency and progression in the game really hits at just the right time when you are starting to feel a little stressed about how difficult the battles are. The one thing is they try to give you the illusion of choice in that you could go this way or that way. But every battle you come across has like a recommended level, and you always get to a point where you're just outmatched. So you have to kind of like go down the other path, or if you want to go one way, like you're just going to run into battles that are too difficult, even though they say like this is an option. So it's not really like as open as you would think, but I would argue right now I'm maybe, I don't know, I might only be like halfway through this game, to be honest. There's kind of like the main area, which I've kind of cleared out, and then there's 4 sub areas off to the side of the map, and I've defeated one of them, and I'm almost done my second one. So there's still 2 more big areas I need to go to, and then kind of like the main end of game mission. And you're supposed to be at level 40 when you beat that kind of like main area. Like I've already kind of unlocked I could go try it right now, but I'd obviously get my ass kicked. But I'm only at like level 20. So, I still have twice as many levels to gain. And obviously, as you progress, levels become harder to get. So it's good. I like all the currencies and how they're being used. As you upgrade your towns, you can station a guard there. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but so then every time the more guards you have stationed at a town, when you win a battle, they give you all of they give you a small sample of all of the sort of like currencies that you can find exploring that are then used to upgrade your other towns. So it's kind of a way to like get resources without having to search around, or just an extra way to get currency, which in my case has been pretty helpful because I'm using those currencies to also get more resources, which allow me to get more guys and stuff like that. So there is like a nice reward for doing that I think is paying off pretty well. But it is definitely a bit of a grind now in that the games is kind of just like the same thing over and over again. I'm finding I'm now starting to put out kind of like my same sort of like favorite groups I have, and they just go kick everyone's ass, depending on what the battles go for. But still, like anyone out there who likes Ogre Battle, this is like a must play for sure. Or even like I would argue even like a Final Fantasy Tactics type game, must play. I am skipping almost every battle. I think I talked about how that has like this really nice animated battle cutscene essentially when you do a battle, but you can hit the 3-line button or start button and skip it right away, and it just kind of quickly sims the battle for you. And that I've been using all the time. The other nice thing about this game is that the battles are pretty short, especially like the side quest battles. They are designed to be defeated in like under 5 minutes. So sometimes I'll defeat, and some even under like 2 minutes. They're very short. So, sometimes I'll beat a battle in a minute. So, you get in, get out, kind of get to go explore, get some more resources and do that loop. But it is definitely a long game that I'm thinking it might be a little too long for me. I still am compelled to kind of like keep grinding it out. I almost feel like it's like the dailies sort of feel you get, Frank, where you're just kind of like, okay, I'll log in the morning, do 1 or 2 battles, collect some resources, and then I'll come back tomorrow sort of feel. It's not something I want to sit down and play for like 4 hours straight or 3 hours straight and do a ton of battles. But, you know, coming back, doing 1 or 2 battles and then calling it a day is kind of like, it's fine. So that I don't know if I'll talk about it more on the show. I'll probably still play it more and possibly try to beat it. But even the story now, oh, I should say, I think you asked me last time, Frank, what is a unicorn overlord?
Yes.
And I could say that the lead character has this unicorn ring, and the unicorn ring has this like magic power that a lot of the people you fight are sort of like under a magic spell, and the unicorn ring breaks the spell that these people are under, and then they come and fight for you, basically. So I believe you are the unicorn overlord, and overlord sounds very ominous, whatever that word is.
Ominous.
That's the one. Yep. So I don't know if it is actually you or if it's the bad guy that put the spell on these people. But yeah, so that's my answer. I have an answer for you.
It says how long to beat. Main story 47 hours. So
47 hours.
About exactly halfway.
So I'm about on pace. It is a haul for sure.
Was this last year or this came out, or is it this
I
year?
believe so. Yeah, last year.
Oh, so it's not even eligible for this year.
Not even eligible. I'm wasting my game of the year time. I know.
Damn.
But I've just, even like other games, like I was telling Frank before, I bought that Conscript game. Like that's a last year's game, but I want to give that a try. I'm not holding my feet to the must-play games this year fire. I'm playing what I want to play in my limited gaming time. So this is the game that has me captured at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to follow what's
gaming's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a chore. So
yeah,
trying to not make it a chore.
Absolutely not. You need to be playing the most current. This is embarrassment material. Next up, Sean doing what he should be doing, gaming right. Tell us about Shadow Labyrinth, which just released this week.
Yeah, so this is the dark Pac-Man Metroidvania, kind of a weird new evolution of Pac-Man. Although, you know, it feels like it's been done before. It definitely reminded me a little bit of that Yar's Revenge game, which was like a Metroidvania update of an Atari game. So, I mean, I haven't played that much, but, you know, it feels... So you kind of, you wake up, you're in this weird world, and there's a floating Pac-Man talking to you named Puck. And I think he's like a robot. It seems to be the implication that he's a robot. And so you are not controlling him, at least not initially. But he's kind of guiding you and telling you what to do. And, you know, it starts off and feels very standard Metroidvania. You have a sword to attack. You know, you have like a slide to slide underneath things. I don't think I have a double jump yet. But then you get to a point where there are these things in the environment that are kind of look just like bars that go around the borders of the screen. And when you get to those, you can basically take control of Puck. And, you know, it's like Pac-Man on rails. And it's almost like the spider ball in Metroid, where it's like you're stuck to the walls and you can kind of jump back and forth between walls, but you're going up on the ceiling and around. And while you're doing that, you're eating pellets, which can be used to upgrade. And I mean, that's kind of it so far. Like I am not crazy about the art style. Like it's 2D, but it's not pixel art. So it kind of feels almost like it's a vector based thing. It feels kind of like Flash or something. I don't know what the term would be today for that, but something about it, I don't love it. But like the controls and the movement feel pretty good.
Like the reviews are not great. I think it's got a Metacritic of 70. I've heard that some of the challenge levels are really frustrating, and some of the maze stuff with the Puck character or the Pac-Man character is not that great. So that's why I didn't like hop on it immediately. It's a little higher priced, $40 in Canada, and I'm getting not unanimous great vibes from this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I read a couple of reviews, and I think the thing I'm not sure about so far is difficulty. Like, the dark vibes kind of seem to imply like maybe Dark Souls-ish. I don't know if it's really. I don't think it's a Souls-like, at least from what I've seen so far. You do have like the idea of a flask where you can like refill your health. That's about the only thing that I've seen so far, and like the enemies have not been super difficult so far, but I have seen in a bunch of reviews mention of that it gets very difficult. So that's the thing I'm worried about. I don't know where that happens, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, like it's a cool idea, and like just, it's just weird. And obviously there was an episode of that Secret Level Amazon series that's kind of like the backdrop, or like explains the lore of this a little bit. So just in that sense, it's weird and an interesting update of Pac-Man, but it kind of just feels like a pretty run-of-the-mill Metroidvania so far. Not bad, but nothing amazing other than the Pac-Man kind of going around the walls thing is the only unique thing I've seen so far.
Okay. I might still check it out this week. Hoping it showed up at the library, but nothing yet. Speaking of which, I platinumed Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. Did I say it? I haven't said that yet, right? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It wasn't a game that was hooking me, but I did by the end really appreciate it. And I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I thought it was unique enough and had a lot of cool mechanics and ideas that by the end, looking back on it, I probably think it'll be in my top 10 list towards the bottom. Not 100% sure yet, but definitely recommend it.
I'm just checking the St. Catharines library. No Shadow Labyrinth. Is there a physical release for it?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
I have it from where I returned it now, but I guess St. Catharines isn't part of the Niagara cooperative system. Like, well, you're just all on your own, exclusive, whatever. We don't need you.
Yeah.
All right, Huck, what else?
So I played MindsEye after a week, but I don't know if either of you guys got back into it, but I probably played less than you guys. I think I probably put in like an hour, and I must say it was very cinematic heavy in that first part. I was enjoying it though. It's like definitely my type of game in that first hour of, sort of like cybernetic, weird, robot stuff going on, a little hint of, futuristic stuff going on. And I thought the driving mechanics were okay. They weren't anything special, but definitely not, like a deal breaker. Combat seemed okay. The guns had a lot of recoil, so you kind of had to take your time, or at least the gun I had. And then the only knock I have on it is that I couldn't skip the cutscenes. So I couldn't do my YouTube 2x trick.
You have to watch those
like,
cutscenes.
That is like a huge, like, what are we living in the early 2000s here? Like, come on. Let me skip this damn cutscene. And then
reducing the runtime of this thing.
They might be. But then also a little pet peeve of mine, that it was very unclear when the game is saving, and there's no way to manually save from what I could tell. So I was playing and I was just like, okay, I got to like a gameplay part. I'm like, okay, let me quit and see if this even saved before I get too far. And then when I returned to the game, it put me at the start of the cutscene before the gameplay. So I had to watch the entire cutscene again, even though it wasn't like anything revolutionary going on, before I would get to gameplay, which kind of pissed me off, to be honest. Like, the fact that this always pissed me off in older games too, like back in the day, like the old Final Fantasies that wouldn't let you skip cutscenes. Like, let's say I'm playing the game for the second time around. I really like the gameplay. I don't really care much about the game or about the story anymore. I've seen it. I don't want to watch it again. And you're not going to let me skip. Now I'm just like sitting there wasting my time because I like your game, but I'm going to
How
wait.
hard did you try to skip?
I don't know. I tried hitting every button. No skip option came up. I hit start. There was nothing in the menu that said skip cutscene. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's
tried hard. I gotta give you credit. You tried hard.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's like some super obvious way and I'm just a dum-dum.
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought I remembered there being some way to skip cutscenes, but I do remember what you're talking about of like the checkpoint being before the cutscenes, which was really annoying. That definitely happened to me a couple times. But yeah, I'm Googling it now and I see people saying how do you skip cutscenes, and it seems like you can't. So maybe you're right.
It's like such a bizarre, like unless they're using the cutscenes to hide loads or something, I don't know. It's but I mean even I don't know, even the choice like you said to like put the checkpoint before the cutscene seems like a little pretentious to me. Like I'm gonna force my fucking cinematics on you because they're so good, Just kind
There
of
is a thread in the Steam discussion for MindsEye. Skip cutscenes is the title. Please enable, and that's it.
Nope.
So I don't know. I was kind of enjoying it for what it was, but I definitely am not very far. I'm going to try to give it a little more time and see how bad it goes down after I actually get unleashed on the open world and stuff like that. But yeah, the no skip cutscenes is kind of a real really grinds my gears at this point.
Someone on here, unskippable cutscenes, no deliberate save points. Yeah, this game is pretty, but it's boring me to tears. I want to get on with the game, not watch a movie. And then the reply is, hi, I want to blacklist this game devs, but my ignore list is full. Anyone know what to do without emptying the old list? Someone has filled their list of developers they've blacklisted on their Steam? Like,
brutal.
What the hell is going on here?
Guy buys a lot of shitty games, I guess.
I don't think so. I think they got issues. But all right, Sean, anything else for you?
Yeah, so I played have you guys heard of Peak? This is like a new game all the streamers are playing. It's the new thing. It's blowing up. It's made a lot of money apparently. But it's a co-op climbing game, and Kieran wanted to play it, and so I was like, yeah, let's play it. So we played a bit of it, and it's weird because there's a lot of climbing games coming out recently. I feel like there was that Jusant game.
This one with Karen, as well.
Which that I don't think that's out yet, but I think it's coming out later this year. That one I think is like a more realistic, technical, trying to recreate the experience of climbing. This is very cartoony, but it's pretty fun. Like it's the idea is I think the levels are procedurally generated. I think every day they put up a new level basically, and you kind of work together. Like you can carry only a certain number of things with you, and there's like obviously food to like heal if you fall and hurt yourself, bandages, ropes, compass, like different things, and you kind of have to pick and choose. And obviously, the more people you have, probably the more stuff you can carry, but also the more people that can get hurt. And you kind of just hold down the left mouse button to climb up the side of almost anything, but you have a stamina meter, so it runs out pretty quick. And so you have to kind of like figure out strategically, okay, what are the areas I can climb up and rest and climb up and rest. And then if somebody gets up, they can kind of put their hand down to like give you a little extra something to grab onto. And you find stuff along the way, like you come across chests and things like that. And I don't know. I mean, we only played like 1.5 levels, I would say, but I was definitely like, I would keep playing this, and especially if the levels are introducing new obstacles every time. Like there's weird fog, and like it started to rain at one point, so the rocks got very slippery. And but yeah, it was pretty enjoyable for co-op game.
I've not heard of it. I'm also embarrassed about that. It's the number one like non-free game on Steam right now.
Whoa.
So
It'll be on the Summer Game Fest next year. These are the top sellers.
For sure. Yes. I mean, another one that seems to be blowing up on even on the PlayStation Store, and it's up there like fourth on Steam that I've heard nothing about is Ready or Not, which is like
I haven't heard about that.
kind of siege. I get the vibe. It's like Rainbow Six or like Payday, but with cops.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of it, but
Or SWAT team. I don't know. I don't know if they're paying to have exposure on the PlayStation Store, but it seems like it's selling really well, and I haven't heard a thing about it. So I don't know. It's just weird that I haven't seen it on any video game websites or anything, and it's blowing up. I don't even know what are video game websites even covering now? I'm looking at IGN. It's just selling shit. Where can I get fucking like just game news and reviews? That's all I want.
Yeah. This Peak game though, I heard that it's the developers from Another Crab's Treasure. I know Frank, you played that. I think you played that too, Sean. But I heard it was some podcast. I can't remember what it was I was listening to, but these guys were like developing some other game, some much bigger game, and they had this climbing mechanic that was super fun. And then they were like, "Hey, why don't we just, make a game out of this while we're developing this other game?" Or maybe that other game got canceled or something, but this like climbing mechanic was super fun. So they basically, spun it out into its own game that they just like kind of threw together quickly and was like, "Hey, let's try to make some money on this and, see how it does." And now it's like super popular. So it's kind of funny how that can happen.
I mean, there's got to be a story there because it's a separate team. So it's like people broke off from
is that what it says?
It's just Team Peak, and it's their only game developed, but it's published by Aggro Crab and Landfall, who both published or were like part of the publishing team for Another Crab's Treasure. So there's got to be a story going on somewhere with what's going on with this team. And I mean, we don't have to get into the whole Subnautica 2 thing. I barely even know really what's going on there, but
yeah,
like it's going to be interesting. Like when if it is just a bunch of people who worked at this company and they said, we're going to ship this, and now this blows up, what happens in that company? Like, did they have written like agreements to how this stuff goes? I feel like there was similar stuff with the Disco Elysium team at some point, and then so like there's these indie developers, it's all peace, love, and understanding until someone starts making some money, and then and then shit falls apart. So I kind of want to know. I want to hear these stories a little bit.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Also, apparently, Parcel Simulator is also very popular right now.
Anything simulator is popular right now.
Yeah,
and people love playing average, shitty games that streamers play.
Hey, you know what? I think people can't get jobs and they're just desperate for some work. So they play games that simulate a job. How about that?
Maybe,
for a hot take?
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm playing good games like DK Bananza, Trello, and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
There you go.
Those are real games, dudes.
I mean, Donkey Kong costs $100. Peak costs $10. That could be a factor too.
Could be. Could be indeed.
All right. Anyone else have anything they played?
I got one quick thing I tried, and it's more just like a question for Frank and maybe Sean if he played it. I tried Marvel Rivals, and I played the tutorial, and I don't understand these games. Why do people play these games?
Marvel Rivals is exceptional. It's very fun. It's got, in my opinion, a very compelling art style and character designs, which is what pulled me into the game. And then I just think you got to find a character you like. I would say if you're used to playing shooters, start with Punisher. Punisher is kind of close to just playing COD to some degree. And if that's what you typically play, maybe play a character like that, understand how the different game types work and the roles. I had not played a lot of Overwatch and other character shooters, so this was my introduction to that, except for Concord, of course. That was technically my introduction. And then Rivals kind of replaced Concord, and I kind of got it now. And I love Rivals. I still play that every.
But why? Is it because is the whole reason you go back to play this is because you are looking at it like it's a sport and you want to be the best at it and you want to master the mechanics? Why are you playing it? Why do people play this game?
I would think in general, I'm not a huge, is that what they're called? Character shooters or?
I don't
Hero
know.
shooter?
Hero shooter. Sorry, character shooter. Fuck, embarrassment everywhere today. I think it's an element or a combination of several things. One, just as previously stated on the show and in history, shooting and aiming mechanics are the most fun thing to do. And that's the primary mechanic in these games. Now, they actually expand on shooting and mechanics to give it each character a different style of shooting. So when you've mastered one character or you're bored with one character, the aiming means something else on different characters. So it's kind of like a fighting game where, okay, I'm really good at this character. I kind of want to try someone else. And then I'm learning the intricacies of playing with that character. And then on top of it, there's strategic elements, which are, you're in the middle of a fight and you have a composition of roles on your team and you might be losing, and you can strategically change which characters you use to try to strategically influence the battle as well as your skill. And there's just a lot of things at play, and it involves communication and teamwork, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
Okay. Listeners, I don't believe anything Frank just said. Please post why these hero shooters are fun for you in the comments, youtube.com/GameJunk, because Frank doesn't know what he's talking about with these games.
If you agree with what I said, why they're so popular, please just put in the comments exactly what Frank said. That's why I like these games, but maybe you don't.
I guess I also don't really understand why people love playing. I thought people like playing COD and, Day of Defeat, whatever the game was before Day of Defeat. Counter-Strike, thank you. Because it was like a military fantasy people had. But it's more is it more of the aiming. I just like to aim. That's it. I like to aim.
Everyone plays games. It's very sad.
I like to aim and shoot. That's it. That's why people play
aim
these games.
And shoot accurately. You got a game. Now the goal and why COD is so popular. Partially, I think it is the aesthetic, the military stuff. But I don't know if I've talked about this. Sarah Silverman was on Howard Stern not too long ago, and she was talking about how she got addicted to COD. And she just said it just feels so good killing things. And I was like, she gets it. She gets it. This is what I've been saying. And it's about how you make aiming and shooting feel rewarding through user interface elements, and COD is the best at it. They have everything: screen shake, user experience, sound. They make a successful shot feel satisfying. Marvel's close. It's good. I think it could improve a lot of those things in the user experience a lot. But I do think, aside from the core gameplay stuff that all hero shooters have, I think Marvel has a very cool art style, and I think it's got the coolest Marvel designs of any comic book game. I know we often use the Rocksteady games as a point of reference for coming up with new takes on classic characters from a comic book and making their own version of those. I think Marvel Rivals really does that well, and the costumes are actually cool, and for the most part, I can see why someone would want to buy them. I just think the art style is very impressive. Character design, second to none.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. This has been bothering me the last like couple weeks of like why these games are so popular and people play them because I just don't understand it. Like
are you talking about shooters in general, or are you talking about hero shooters? Because
I'm talking about these like hero shooter type games, even like COD multiplayer, less COD multiplayer, but like more like Counter-Strike. Like you literally just have a map, two teams, winner wins, last man standing wins. Like, okay, like I just don't understand why it's so popular that people will play it every single day for years and years and years and years.
Well, let me add one thing. Someone might already commented on the YouTube video, but let's just take a step back. They're free. That's another reason.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
They're so free. You play with your friends, and they're not. It's not like a market that's easy to break into, but there's just like 4 or 5 of them that everybody knows. All their friends play.
Yeah. Okay. I guess if you're just kind of hanging out with your friends and that's like the avenue you use to like chat with them, I can understand that. I thought it had to have been more like this is a sport that people want to get better at, but that doesn't seem to be the case by Frank's answer. So
there's that. I mean, there's
like,
that.
But then there's no like meta game, right? Like in a sports game, you have the stats from the individual matches, which then go into like the league standings, right? So you can see how you progress as you play more and more games. And I guess that's what the ranking aspect is to it. But I don't know if that's like a driving factor. Like I want to be the #1 ranked Marvel Rivals player or anything like that. Or I know that was a big thing with like,
it's the most popular game on Steam right now.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess the third or second next to Counter-Strike 2 is up there as well. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like an interesting thought experiment of why these games are popular. Is it literally just people like killing things?
There is a competitive side to it, obviously.
But, and I think Marvel Rivals is popular because like other shooters that we've talked about, COD or Counter-Strike, are like ratings-wise mature and younger people can't play it. So this is something like that younger people can play too, and they love comic books. So it's
is there like a progression to your player? Like the more you play, you unlock things. Is that part of it too? Okay.
Not a ton, but there's stuff like that.
You get better the more you play.
Yeah.
Like Helldivers, you like unlock your backpack bro or whatever it's called.
You do not.
Your dog backpack.
The skills your character has the first time you play it will be the same as the 1,000th time you've played it.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's bizarre. That's even I don't know.
Dude,
anyways, we should move on. I don't understand gaming anymore. Cut the podcast.
Yeah. Sean, anything else for you?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. Next week, not quite sure. This I didn't know Wu Chang Fallen Feathers was coming out this week. No reviews out yet, but kind of curious about that. No other major releases that I can see, unless I missed something.
Yeah, I'm hearing there's going to be a Nintendo Direct either next week or the week after.
Nice.
So,
I think the upgrade for Mario Party Jamboree, the upgrade pack, comes out this week as well, which I kind of want to see the camera integration on some of that stuff.
Right. Wheel World also comes out on Game Pass, and Abiotic Factor on Game Pass and PS Plus.
Okay, I forgot about Wheel World. Looks interesting.
Yeah.
All right. My Game Pass is officially canceled and I'm done with it. So I'm also done with PlayStation Plus Premium. So I'm not giving my money anymore. I'm just going to buy games that I want. All right. That'll do it for this week's show. You can watch us on youtube.com/GameJunk. Leave a comment as to why you play Rivals and other hero shooters, and let us know who's right, who's wrong. If you like Bananza, whatever the fuck you want. youtube.com/GameJunk. Like and subscribe. Other than that, thank you for listening or watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.